Because I know I am. And feel free to share this live stream with your friends and family. And with that being said, enjoy the stream, everyone.
We saw our planet burning, so we took to the streets to demand change. President Biden signed the most impactful climate legislation of our lifetime, 40% reduction in toxic carbon pollution. Real impact right now.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Where I've had to be a real negative Nancy about things. AEW scandals. Okay, I'm giving a couple of wrestling. Great fun to up. And so let's get into what will undoubtedly be the most beautiful of all time. And before we get on with this list, honorable mentions. This list could legitimately have 50 people on it. And Christian, Tristrat. I'm also positive I've forgotten of I's daughter. They got all of what Steve Austin was and why he was great, and I was immediately drawn to him because of it. I then bought that DVD and saw the glory that was Steve Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania X7, which was the first time I remember thinking that I had seen a perfect wrestling match. Steve Austin was an easy wrestler to fall in love with, as any of his iconic Attitude Era moments could be watched out of context and appreciated just as much as when they aired. A man driving a Zamboni into the ring appealed to my specifically Canadian tastes, of course, and as I got older and my tastes in wrestling became more defined, I came to appreciate more and more of Austin's game. From his incredible promos in ECW to his top-notch in-ring work that often gets overlooked because he became better known as a brawler than a technician, but whether it be a WrestleMania Classic that some of you might feature on this list later, or a WCW match with Ricky Steamboat, Steve Austin was one of the best and smartest performers of his generation, and when you work smart, your work tends to stand the test of time. Number 9, Eddie Guerrero. It would be hard to find any wrestling fan that isn't a fan of Eddie Guerrero, and I certainly would not be the exception to that rule. I didn't get the chance to watch Eddie Guerrero while he was with us, but I have no doubt that he would have been my favorite wrestler of the time. Having watched much of his career at this point, from AAA to ECW, WCW, and WWE, It is truly incredible to see how much his career evolved while still remaining so incredibly big. Before his car wreck and other injuries slowed him down, Eddie was one of the most explosive and dynamic wrestlers ever. His matches with Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, and Rey Mysterio were the type of matches that would have had me glued to the TV in the 90s had I been capable of watching. And they also hold up better than most matches of that era. That's going to be a common theme here for me. So much stuff from the 90s and earlier absolutely does not hold up, but the stuff that does is a true mark of greatness in my eyes. Even after his in-ring work changed, he was still one of the best in the world while developing the charisma and personality that made me and most other fans fall in love with him. Latino Heat, lying, cheating, and stealing, his WWE title run, his run with China. These all made Eddie larger than life and one of the wrestlers I am the saddest to have never gotten to experience watching in person. Number 8, Bryan Danielson. There is probably no one man more responsible for me continuing to watch WWE in the 2010s than Bryan Danielson. I realized I could say anything in these videos, and there wouldn't be anything I could do to make you all believe me, but I swear on New Japan itself that when Bryan returned at SummerSlam 2010 and tapped out Darren Young in minutes, my 13-year-old self turned to my dad and said, "That's the next guy." I certainly didn't have to be right, considering WWE's efforts to the contrary, but I will gladly put this in the Tempest was right column because my love for Bryan Danielson and his work knows no bounds. One of my favorite things to experience with a wrestler is learning of them and then getting to watch an entire back catalog of their work. And when Teenage Tempest was expanding his horizons to the rest of the wrestling world, there were 2 people who served as my gateway drugs. One of which will be talked about later, and the other was Bryan Danielson for Ring of Honor. When done at its highest level, wrestling in my mind is the greatest form of performance art in the world. And by extension, when I watch Bryan work, I see an artist who has perfected his craft. His work in WWE and AEW continue to make me love him, but his run as ROH World Champion is truly his magnum opus in my eyes. Pure wrestling art. Number 7. Kazuchika Okada. The way I feel having watched Bryan Danielson's ROH World Championship run after the fact is how I felt amplified by 10 while watching Kazuchika Okada's 2-year run as IWGP Heavyweight Champion as it happened. When I started getting into Japanese pro wrestling in 2015, I was completely unfamiliar with Okada and his stories. However, it took watching precisely one match of his to understand just how special a performer he was. He buys expensive cars and dresses fancy because he wants to represent what a wrestler he was. He buys expensive cars and dresses fancy because he wants to represent what a wrestling champion should be, and I respect that level of dedication. Okada's title run is the quintessential example of the story of the champion taking on all comers, being worn down with each new challenge, but never quitting. This is the single best title reign of all time. Hands down, it had everything. Multiple long-term stories, a wide range of opponents, consistently excellent matches, a perfect ending, and the perfect wrestler to carry it out. If there was any doubt that Okada was the ace of New Japan after his career-defining rivalry with Hiroshi Tanahashi, which I also consider the best wrestling rivalry of all time, this reign put those reservations to bed with a swift rainmaker. Number 6, Jeff Hardy. When my best friend started introducing me to wrestling in January of 2008, her favorite wrestler in the world was Jeff Hardy. So when I watched my first wrestling show ever, I didn't see him because I watched SmackDown. But then I watched Raw 3 days later, and I was watching for one man. Jeff Hardy was the kind of charismatic wrestler that appealed to my 11-year-old self. At the time, I genuinely thought he was the coolest man on earth. Had Jeff Hardy not had his year-long chase for the WWE Championship in 2008, I may not have gotten invested enough in wrestling to keep coming back. His WWE Championship win at Armageddon 2008 was the defining moment of my first year watching wrestling, and it remains my biggest feel-good wrestling match. If I'm down and need a boost, this is the match I watch. Everyone else on this list is included largely because of their incredible in-ring talent, among other things, of course. But Jeff Hardy is on this list because of the vibes. That's not to say I think he's a bad wrestler, because he certainly had his good matches for sure. But for me, this one isn't about the match. This is because Jeff was the man who made me a fan. I thank him for that, and I wish him nothing but the best. Number 5, Kurt Angle. Last year when I was writing features for WrestleTalk.com, I made lists of the best WWE pay-per-view matches of each calendar year since the turn of the millennium. This was just meant to be a fun exercise to get some quick content, but what it became was the slow realization that Kurt Angle is in fact the goddamn best, with half of the entries on every list coming courtesy of the big red, white, and blue machine. I already knew he was great, don't get me wrong. But having not watched WWE week to week during Angle's time with the company, I didn't quite grasp just how wide the gap was between Kurt and basically everyone else. Watching every one of Kurt's best pay-per-view matches sounds like a perfect way to spend any Friday night, but getting to sit back and watch Kurt versus Benoit, Kurt versus Rock, Kurt versus Austin, Kurt versus Edge, Kurt versus Ray, Kurt versus Brock, Kurt versus Shawn, Kurt versus Eddie, Kurt versus Undertaker was a transcendent experience, watching maybe the most natural pro wrestler of all time. How this man was able to become one of the best wrestlers on the planet in about 14 months is a mystery to me, but it is one of the most remarkable feats I have ever seen in pro wrestling. He's also hilarious and one of the best examples of a five-tool player wrestling has ever seen. That picture of him in a cowboy hat is my favorite image in wrestling history. I laugh every time. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Number 4, Mick Foley. It is unfathomable that a man so nice could be so twisted in front of the camera. In a world where people's favorite Attitude Era stars were one of Steve Austin or The Rock, mine has always been Mick Foley. You wouldn't necessarily think that a man who became famous for working the deathmatch, big bump style, would also be one of the greatest wrestling minds in the history of the business, but that is Mick Foley. From his legendary ECW promos that I still consider my favorite promos ever cut, to his extremely thoughtful matches that serve to elevate all those who step in the ring with him, Foley is one of the greatest all-around performers I have ever seen. His match with Shawn Michaels at Mind Games stands as a shining example of the level of thoughtful storytelling that made Mick's matches so special. Mick obviously had to overcome a lot of hurdles in his career because of his size, but he did so by being undeniable. If you needed him to be a hardcore legend, he would do it better than anyone in the world. If you needed him to be a tormented soul, he could be one of the best character actors in WWE history. If you wanted him to do comedy, he was funny. If you wanted him to cut a money promo, he was one of the best talkers in the business. And if you wanted him to offer you some advice as a young wrestling media person, he was the best at that too.
I've been doing community basketball for 40 years, and in that time, I've never seen anyone show up like Dr. Perry. I trusted him to show up as governor too, to address the gun violence and fund up for it. I was like, thank you.
Fuel up with a Wawa app and get 15 cents off per gallon. It's so easy. Just select your pump and pay in the app. Download, fuel up, and save 15 cents per gallon. Now through October 30th. Gotta have a Wawa.
3, Bret Hart. They didn't call him the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be for no reason. Aside from the fact that Bret Hart is a Canadian hero and genuinely seems like a swell fellow. I mean, have you seen that video of Bret getting a ping pong shot at his son's party?
Yo! Is that Bret the Hitman Hart?
That man has all the sauce. Bret Hart prided his matches on being extremely well thought out. And thoughtful is a word that I have already used in this list, but it really illustrates what I love most about pro wrestling. Watching matches and analyzing them, being taken on a journey and not knowing where we're going to go next, expecting a right but being given a left. While reviewing SmackDown during the down years, a lot of people would try and tell me to just turn my brain off and enjoy the schlock I was watching, but that's just not what I like. I love being able to think about what I'm watching, and Bret Hart's matches were the best example of that for their day. Bret's work holds up better than any main event star of his era. At one point, I went back and watched every WWE review from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 10. Not something I would recommend because hot damn do those shows not retain their magic, but the one constant on every show that featured him was a great Bret Hart performance. He stuck out like a sore thumb, a beacon of the next generation of wrestling among a sea of giants and cartoons. And while his character may not have been his greatest strength, despite being able to cut up hilarious promos, El Dandy and Bill Goldberg, as Adam Cole said, all you need to do to make Bret Hart feel special is ring the freaking bell. Number 2, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Bryan Danielson was one gateway drug, now here's the other. If you asked me to name the actual best wrestler of all time, on any given day, I would probably tell you either Bret Hart or Hiroshi Tanahashi. Before I knew anything about Japanese pro wrestling, I knew about Hiroshi Tanahashi. The first Japanese match I ever saw was Tana's match with Minoru Suzuki at King of Pro Wrestling 2012, and I was mesmerized. New Japan wasn't the most accessible thing in the world at the time, so it would take a few more years for me to properly find my way to the utopia that was New Japan World in the 2010s. But from the jump, I knew what I was seeing from the man with the greatest hair in wrestling history was legendary. Truly a once-in-a-century talent, Hiroshi Tanahashi has the body of work and the track record to back up any claims of his greatness. He rescued New Japan from the jaws of bankruptcy, sacrificing his own body time and time again for the sake of the company, while putting on more great matches than anyone else in the world for his time. He is an infallible babyface, a beloved hero, one of the most charismatic showmen ever to step in a ring, and the greatest big match performer in wrestling history. There is nothing this man could not do in the ring. And while Kazuchika Okada's best matches may have been better than Tanahashi's best matches, although many of those were had together, Tanahashi has always formed a much greater and stronger connection with his audience, myself included. And number one, Edge. While the likes of Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio were the ones that got me hooked on wrestling in 2008, what I came to find is that the man that captivated me the most during my formative years was the hometown boy and rated R superstar himself, Edge. It wasn't until Edge tore his Achilles and was gone for months on end that I realized what a void his absence left in WWE and my fandom at the time. Edge is one of the best all-around performers WWE has ever had. He cuts great promos. He has highly thoughtful matches. He has been able to do angles better than almost anyone, but my God, could he be one of the most effective heels in the business when he was finally given a chance. The Ultimate Opportunist character infuriated me as a kid, but it's the kind of heat that I love going back and watching now. His Money in the Bank cash-ins, his double Elimination Chamber performance in 2009, stealing wins in 2009 at the Royal Rumble, Backlash, and Judgment Day. Edge is the heel wrestler I connected with the most during the peak of my fandom, and maybe I just like him evil, but that was my guy. Some kids idolize a baseball player from their hometown growing up. I idolized a wrestler from my hometown. I cried when he retired. I cried when he came back. His return was what inspired me to try this wrestling thing myself.
Oh,
even if
you
only briefly, and I owe my fandom to him.
Oh,
Cheers,
come
my dude.
on.
Much appreciated. And
You.
that's my list. Thank you, of course, for sitting through it. And if you'd like to continue this conversation, please go over to the new Wrestle Talk Twitter and Facebook accounts that will be linked in the description below. You can follow us on Twitter _Wrestle Talk, and it'll be our new Twitter to advance conversations and give a little bit more personality than just the news. Until then, I've been tempted.
Are you kidding me? You kidding me? My universe mode has stopped. You know what? I am not even mad about it because this happens on multiple occasions. Like after a match in my universe mode is like over, my PS4 broadcast like freaking stops. Like Sony fix your stupid errors if this keeps happening. So we're gonna have ourselves a redo. hopefully my PS4 broadcast doesn't have a stupid error again.
It was an understandably nervous taking on Braun Strowman on Monday. But speaking of big men, absolute giants, Omos in the ring right now. This is just his stature. This is just his size. It's also this man to our right, MVP, that has added weapons to Omos. Welcome to commentary. Thank you for having me. Shout out to our crackpot crew for getting this table reconstructed in time for my arrival. You know, when I take a seat at the table, it has to be proper. Wow! That's a little size 18 boost. Omos just kicked this poor young man in the soul. Stepping over the top rope. Oh, speed! 403 pounds of momentum. That's great. Works over the Maple. Works over the Maple Syrup Kid and the Ultimate Hoser. Great muscle. Rebounded. Omos just kicked this poor young man in the soul. Stepping over the top rope. Oh, speed. 403 pounds of momentum. Touch that 447. What is it you do to motivate Omos? I think it's on his killer instinct now. I remind him that his ancestors said he was going to be the greatest thing ever come out of Nigeria, and he's on his way. Poor Joey Gibson right now trying to get back to his feet and regrets it immediately. See that intensity? Sheddy's turned it up. Omos now realizes what his destiny is, and he's taking steps every day to do things like, I think his back was just very nice. Once more through the canvas. Always nice to have an expert like MVP join the conversation. And we tell you, Omos is making a statement right now, putting everybody on notice. Oh, yeah, Omos now on the warpath.
I used to listen to you when I was a kid.
I'm pretty sure we're not going to have it. I'm pretty sure we're 4. We're in Giant. Oh, my. What a breathtaking sight. Omos and Nick, Robert and Joseph. I thought they called it Chico and Ace back then. Imagine what a roller coaster of emotion they're experiencing. Moments ago, running into Road Dogg, X-Pac, and HBK, some of the greatest of all time, and now realizing your career's probably be over sooner than later at the hands of this behemoth, the Colossus of Monday night. Greatest moments of their lives, followed by their worst moment. Inside the sports circle with the 7'2" almost right now by Julian Jones. I think the scariest part about the ball was he woke up today and said, these big fat chunks are what I want my career to come to a close. It's about an hour and a half. I'm going to get that one of these days. Also, it's Chico picked up here by Amos with ease as well. Oh! Look at the speed of the Goliath. What's the strategy here for Joey Ace and Chico? I don't know, a whole lot of praying, a little running. Up in your health insurance.
Every praise she's received. Don't ever let any player or any other human being, for that matter, do that again. Mickey James was able to get out of there. Runway slam. Neckbreaker. On a knee and another. And Larry hung up on the second rope. Look at the aggression. From behind. Toss with a back suplex. He can always break out of it, but has the damage been done? Drop kick to the spine. Leg is
Good news is Chico and Ace have career prospects here in Brooklyn. They can set up a table on the street and sell New York counts and whatnot. Quite lucrative from what I understand. Chico over the top. Almost just grabbing a hold of his right arm. Crushing Joe Ace. Oh, with the speed. Fleet of foot. Man that stands at 7'3". Double choke slam. Touchdown, Chico. Oh, with the speed of a loss once more. Man that stands at 7'3". Double choke slam. Touchdown, Chico. Touchdown, Chico. Or what I want my career to come to a close. It took about an hour and a half. I think we get there one of these days. Joey Ace and Trouble, but also was Chico. Chico picked up here by Amos with ease as well. Look at the speed of the Goliath. What's the strategy here for Joey Ace and Chico? I don't know, a lot of praying, a little running. Up in your health insurance. Come on, man. Don't forget about this dude over here. Good news is Chico and Ace have career prospects here in Brooklyn. They can set up a table on the street and sell New York caps and whatnot. Quite lucrative from what I understand. Chico over the top. Almost just grabbing a hold of his boy. Oh my God! Devotion Joe Ace. Oh, it's the speed of the ball. It's good.
The prettiest jewel in the Flair family continues to impress. James making it
Now that's gone at 7-foot. Double choke shot.
DDT.
Time to home, Chico.
With a nice reversal. Tries their own cover. James with an easy kick out. Clearly not enough damage done.
Fetterman or Dr. Oz? Fetterman would leave our families defenseless.
Oz will protect our constitutional right.
Fetterman stands with fighting. I am a gun owner, but really a safety voter. Vote Dr. Oz for that.
If you're going back to school, before you submit your essays, run it through Grammarly to quickly check for spelling, punctuation, or grammar mistakes. Look at the marks from my last 2 essays and the feedback.
Oh, hello there. Don't mind me. I'm just using my thing like this joke. You forget and you try to wind it out. Like not that. This is San James time. And then pumpkin just WWE. This crap English music plays. Oh, I absolutely fell on the floor for it. Oh my God. One night, I think this went the exact same running time as the previous match.
He's ready to put the show. Here's another game.
Because while Gable and Ray did have a terrific match, I mean, they didn't do anything else. After around about 4 minutes, the judgment somebody must have been putting the audio guy. Rhea was also wearing an armband that had Beth Phoenix's name on it. Beth was dead. So we got to give a round of applause to Rhea. I also think that somebody decided that Ray needed to take some serious action. The one point he could have died, I was just talking to him. And the absolute Rexham Gable, famous at my time, finished him off with the springboard splash. And I actually looked around here like, have they replaced Rey Mysterio with someone else? They haven't treated him this well in years. Straight away, Dom was being an idiot because he was in the ring going, Daddy, hit me, Daddy, but Ray refused to do it. And even when the rest of the Judgment Day tried to jump him, Ray was like, look, I'm sick of you. He kind of fought them off and he gave a 619 to Damian Priest. This is when Dommy returned and clotheslined his father like a disappointment that he is, and he was still trying to goad him on. But seriously, at this point, even if Rey Mysterio looked like strangled his tongue, would anybody actually judge him? The irony, of course we wouldn't. Dominic deserved it. He didn't though, so Dominic and Ray attacked him. And as Ripley was holding his arms over the ropes, Dominic hit the 619, and I was like, you disgusting people, using his own move against him. This was like the saddest 619 ever, or the 61 not fine. That's it. This continues to be really well done though. We're taking our time and we're eking it out. And if you want to try and stretch this to WrestleMania, where we do Mysterio versus Mysterio, I actually think that would be more than fine. We're definitely planting some seeds here. I really do enjoy how Raw segues all these segments together these days as well, because given that the Judgment Day were in the ring, they're like, well, why don't we do a little bit of talking? They then bragged about the fact that Edge had lost to Finn Balor at the pay-per-view, feeling like a vet on Finn Balor. Why do we take so long to turn him here on the main roster? He is like a drunk mate who just wants to cause chaos. It's awesome. We then had a video to visually remind us what they had done to Edge and Becky in actually up the Mike and Dominic. And this schmuck could barely talk because he was just getting rained down with booze. The fair play to that guy, damn it. Are they ready to turn their
No, come on, no.
Just sat backstage going, they don't mention my name. If they do mention my name, I'm going out there.
Dang it, not again.
He acted all like, oh, you're right. I should have joined you, but friends and family are so important. But as we have now learned recently, if you're an internet nerd like me, and a couple of names start getting thrown out there, like, oh, they could be returned to WWE a few hours before Raw,
What it means is they're returning on that Raw, because just as Finn Balor and AJ Styles gave a hug to each other, AJ was like, I'm not talking about you, you goober. I'm talking about these guys. And who returned to WWE?
I am sorry about that.
Fans lost it.
My broadcast has stopped twice.
And it also means we're going to do the Judgment Day versus the OC or the OG, whatever the hell they're called. I was like, oh my gosh, I desperately want that. Especially when you remember the past between all of those guys, we could really make this work. Especially because New Japan retweeted this on Twitter because Carl Anderson is one of their champions. We are not in Toto anymore, Kansas. Plus, all of this actually makes sense. AJ wouldn't just walk out there if he didn't have a plan. So he went and got his buddy. So Raw really does have some momentum at the moment, and this episode especially backed that up. And the only real negative I could throw in it is that it's 3 hours. It's always going to be 3 hours. WWE makes a lot of money. At this point, who even cares? I do have to point out that when AJ was teasing he was going to join the Judgment Day, he had to kneel down in front of Finn Balor like he was General Zod. I mean, can you imagine if you had a friend like that? Hey, Simon, you want to come see Darren? Absolutely not. Damage Control did an interview after this, and Byron Saxton was on conducting duty, so that's his new role. I kind of don't really understand what they're doing with this group, because Byron was all like, well, Bailey, you kind of sucked at the weekend. When Dakota Kai and Io Sky jumped in, they were like, we love Bailey. She's the greatest person ever. One day, she will be the champion. And they were hinting massively that she's going to get a rematch. And I was like, why? Bianca Belair absolutely whooped her ass. The point is this. Later on, it will be Candice LeRae versus...
I'm deleting both live streams.
After this, and it was excellent. Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns were about to go check out New York City. When Jey Uso ran up to them because he wanted to go, Brock was like, nah, you've got to stay here. And you've got to watch over Sami Zayn with your brother Jimmy Uso. And I tell you, Jey, he better win. So, see where this is going. And then, I was genuinely stunned. It was Candice LeRae versus Bayley. And while Bayley took a huge portion of this match, just as she went to do the Rose Plant, Candice decided, I'm going to hit you with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. And she beat her. And I went, what? So I played the WWE as well because they haven't done this finish in a while. Because they did it here after Bayley had lost at Extreme Rules, it generally made me face palm in shock. And of course, straight after this, Io Sky and Dakota Kai got the ring. Bianca Belair also tried to help out here, but her wrestling match absolutely sucked. It was still 3 on 2. So Damage Control finished her off as well, with Bayley taking the belt and kind of doing an elbow drop on her. So yeah, it does look like we will do Bayley versus Bianca Belair round 2. I'm not sure how we're going to justify this, and there's still something about Damage Control I don't get. It's still a very well-worked segment. Giving it up. Maurice then gave The Miz a baseball bat for his birthday. Oh, that is pretty weird. It eventually made sense because these two went to the ring to have the Miz's birthday celebration. Maurice was all like, read the bat, read the bat. So he did read the bat. And it was signed by baseball legend Jose Ramirez, but not Aaron Judge, which was basically a way to go, New York, your sports team sucks. It didn't muck around here at all because in the ring there was a table with a bunch of presents on it. This is why I was laughing so much. Because before this, Maurice had been saying, look, Miz, don't worry about Dexter Loomis, you should care about my birthday party. Because I spent 3 months preparing this. And all it was boxes on some wood. We could have done that in a day. He was so pumped for Miz to open one too that he did pick it up. And for some reason he turned away. Because that's how people open presents. Because, of course, when you turned around, who had, I suppose, got a saw.
Third time's a charm.
He just popped his head out. That's right. His big plan to get out of this was to just take the box and put it back over Dexter's head, which is the equivalent of taking a shower when you want to get dry, and of course, because he's a mega asshole, he basically pushed his wife into harm's way. It then got super dark. Took out a knife, like he was about to do some stabby whabbing. But instead, he went to cut himself a slice of the sugar bread. But this whole thing is totally out of control, and it's been going on for weeks. And I still have absolutely no idea what Dexter Loomis is trying to do. However, you know me, I do like the goofiness, and I was just laughing it off with this. That context, it is totally wild. And we are going to get some justification in around about 3 seconds. And we shall talk about that right now, because then we zoom back to the Generation X with a couple of jobs who are about to take up over going, oh man, you can do it, you can do it. This is when the Miz found them, the Barry Harris was born. And he said, I want to take on the match next week, and if I win, he has to be WWE. The road of the ring. He also said, if Dexter wins, maybe he gets your balls, and nobody seems to debate this. So right now, I'm not 100% sure that on next week's show, somebody's testicles aren't going to be on the line. And of course, that ties into the fact that Miz loves talking about his balls in that birthday segment. Testicles, I'm sick of testicles. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And when we do get to next Monday, I'm going to watch like this. I want to see everybody have their. This also did mean it was time for two random dudes versus Omos. Genuinely battle. Because I've said it before, but we've done this. Omos destroyed a bunch of dudes. Then he had a few with Bobby Lashley. It looked like we were moving in a new direction before we've gone back to Omos just smashing. Just tree slap up, tree slap up, tree slap up. It does feel like the teases that we're going to do Omos versus Braun Strowman at the moment. Braun's the rest of the guy as we need. Look, I really like Omos. I think he has an upside. I think people are way too hard for him. Also, in wrestling, I just want a giant. None of this makes any sense. I think we could give him something more concrete. It was all good though, because then went Angle crazy. Then came Bobby Lashley, who was ready for his US title match against Seth Rollins. And he took the microphone and he was all like, listen, people I beat you through back in time. Seth Rollins, I beat you. Well, Lesnar, I beat you. But what did I tell you earlier? What did I tell you wrestling? And just start throwing out names about somebody coming to tell us where it's like, and that's what happened. Get those goggles back on. Brock Lesnar on the top. The phrases are now absolutely ridiculous. Well, Brock, you're like, Bobby, it's great to see you. He then grabbed Lashley, he put him on his shoulders, and five after every guy. He also locked up a Kimura, which was absolutely horrible because he got the cowboy hat and straight to your pal, and he walked to the bank. No one's really presumed that we are going to do Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. I'll always take that match. This obviously led to a story point as well about my John Lesnar what he's going to do. The Seth Rollins came out, basically took the piss out of him, for lack of a better term, your ass. He was able to hit the spear, but he was too injured from the F5. So Seth Rollins gave him some curb stomps, and he pinned him. He is now the US champion. Then also walked out here with his rib taped up because he had to in the face. I'm like, how is that going to be taken? In any sense, I thought all of this was perfect. Right now, Raw doesn't have a chance to go up the but right now, Seth is basically copying the that's where he is. I was just having a great time with it. Basically, Bray with his mask over and over again, war. That kind of way. So that was fun. And I do touch things with the go to war. See a live experience from them. Of course, you were going to be a sad panda. The other side. There was a bunch of QR codes that basically told you will turn up on SmackDown. And if this is WWE's plan, then they have to stick to the plan. Too many times in the past they've gone on there to change the plan, and it never worked. Like when CM Punk, for example, he won the WWE title, and he was meant to be going to the company. And then, like, that afternoon, he came back and said, so this version is better. This has to play out and regain our customers. Right after this, a graphic came up on the screen and said, hey ho, Alliance going back to like 2 bits of taxation for everybody that does make a return. But live, I'm going to really good time. I like Alliance too. I think it's a hard time for no reason. Where it was time for our time to face it, and Zayn versus. Now this was good. I mean, it was really good. You could have Riddle and Zayn and choose that forever, and it's still fun. But by lots of matches, there's more even score than it was graphic. That's one of the main reasons I'm zooming through all of this, because we do want to get into it. In fact, Zayn and Jay Uso whole time they kept looking at me. And at one point, someone said, "You don't need to get involved. You don't need to get involved." I know what I do. To the point when Billy was whipping his ass, Jimmy Uso, who was also like that.
Gay as hell, gay as fucking hell. If you fuck gay more jail, it's what Sergeant said. This God. How can you fuck up female champions this fucking much? He said he's in pain. Stop putting on dick when he spanked. Let's go to Pop and Happy Ending. Fucking nice. Oh, that video. Oh, what the hell was this? Anyway, y'all will give me a beer, you fucking dog. All right, this is Billy Bob Chandler here, people. We got some more SpongeBob shit going on. Yeah, SpongeBob Spinge Binge, and this one's called Spingel Blab Gets a Horrible New Job. Spingel Blab or Splingel? I don't fucking know. Let's just react to it. Sexual harassment? No. Fuck no. Get to it. What the hell? Oh, I hate that guy. Fucked up place.
You've got a lot to learn before you're ready to share in this straight
Wow. Yeah, fucked up restaurant. Whoa, God, my mind's getting fried. God. This is beyond drugs, guys. Oh. He's fucked up. I'm fucked up. I got a relaxed brain. It's kind of hard to follow this super fast shit. What the fuck? Krabby Crust. Damn, what is going on in this video? This is like the weirdest shit. I don't know if it's weirder than the other SpongeBob ones, but this is fucking weird. And fucked up.
Krabby Crust today.
The Krabby Crust. Did I just see what that was? SpongeBob's got a dick in there. Oreo? I missed everything because I can't understand what to say. It's more too fast.
Here's a here's a transfer machine.
Oh, I'm about to get a headache or something. What the hell? Why is robotic?
Mr. Krabs Spearo's didn't balance of YouTube in check.
God, help me, girl, please. That's what.
No, Harry. Let's see if you've got what it takes to fill you.
Whoa. Look dark. What's that?
That says, hello, rich family.
God!
Makings of a good gospel, but for
Fuck
every
this,
no.
man! This is crazy!
Let's see. A glazed looking ass. Look carefully at
Look.
this. I really wish I were here right now, Bucket.
Well, I think you're gonna scream for
Not
this.
just like this. But we'll call him No. You can't take a crap without understanding the phrase shit. Looks like Mr. Pan.
Shit, that's just what comes out of your ass. Oh!
Here's a typical asshole. Do you think he's going to order A, sofa, B, a no, or C, a pig?
He's gonna get a blowjob, please.
Ah, fuck this shit. As an employee of the Grab, you must comply with a strict set of estimation guidelines.
Oh,
Okay, Mr. Squarepants, are you ready to check?
do we?
Let's see those hands. Now that's
Oh, God, man. Wow.
Let's see how
Sick
prepared
fuck.
today.
Why squibbling in the buckets? Oh.
Remember, no monster, no Squidward. Now that you're horny, I'll bet you think you're ready
Fuck
to get
this, man.
your workstation.
Please end now. Please end.
But a clean off is only part of the job. To make the
Killing me. I had a feeling a pony was going to show her up. What the fuck? Now I really want this video to end.
Now let's see how Deckwood keeps his workstation.
I've heard that before.
Don't worry, Deckwood. Mr. Van Square can give you this. Now that your workstation is not tidy and free of droppings. Think you're ready to make the world famous party party.
Oh, God!
My garden inside.
How long did this video take to
You
make?
have to make sure
Shit.
you're ready for the susk of the judge interfacing with your sauce.
Can I have a baby?
No.
Can I take a crap?
No.
God, SpongeBob, you're fucking weird and gay and creepy.
Okay. And now we move from Ask Puppy Deckwood to the front of food and the most important.
I will never go to the crusty crust for the fucking
Or,
hard.
as we like to say, the customer.
Patrick has problems.
Are you a ghost? Precious poop. International officers are strong and
This is overkill. I need some Tylenol, some brain medicine, and something sweet. Oh, everybody, this video is great, me. Oh, shit, man. You're fucking in.
Why don't you be
No, don't eat shit. Fucking ashes. Oh, it's SpongeBob, you're surprised? All the shit you've been doing in this video?
so delicious?
And that's my fault. To shoot yourself. That video really fried my brain. I don't know, man. If y'all want to watch the original video, I dare you to go watch it, though. I just reacted to it. Sorry, y'all.
Can we lower the topic, young lady?
No. Shit.
That's right.
The pump's at the background.
Guitars from Squidward Clarinet.
How fucked up can these videos get, man? SpongeBob, Bill.
Hey, Squidward, wanna blow some babies? Only 25 cents.
Fuck off, SpongeBob.
Good morning, niggers.
Good morning to you, sir. Would you care to blow a sir?
Sounds racist? I'll never get surrounded by such boomers. I'll never get surrounded by such.
One, two, ready to go.
That's it.
Doing some lessons. Only 25 cents.
I don't know what's going on in this video.
Let's go like this. Says, spin around. Stop. Take 3 inches.
I don't think SpongeBob is a drug lord. I think he's a fucking acid maniac, crazy lord.
Now it's time to bring the fun up down.
Well, still really.
Can you do this? Then
He's just crazy.
Give me any of that. How can you two possibly make all this noise just to make you two cool?
we're making art. Watch carefully.
We really need subtitles for this fucking video. Because I have no idea what he's saying, even when I'm listening. Man, they get high as shit. They do the drugs.
It's not art. That's just annoying. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Stop saying that, please.
We also offer lessons for beginners.
Niggers, what if I could be more simple and blow it out? Hand you 25 cents. Fuck it.
And all of it? Okay, that was weird. Y'all want to watch the original video, the link's in. We're going to react to White. Damn, that's why I was living alone. I gotta deal with this shit anyway on live stream when people donate $1.99. You're gonna make me do it here too. This is what they turn that shit into. You give it to them, you supply. Molested. Yeah, fuck you too. It's not a joke, it's trash.
It's for 9,000.
God. Jills. Oh, okay, come on. I don't have no control. Oh no! Oh fuck no! Mr. Skittles, man. In memory of Mr. Skittles. And whoever done to him. Oh, that's not gonna happen. In memory of Mr. Skittles the wrong way. That's not how I have. In the minds of Papa 420. Oh yeah! That's Otis's friend, right? Yeah. That's what I think Otis was talking about Buster. BBT Billy finds the jizz. There you go. Fucking shitty, slow ass pussy internet. I'm know like what the fuck is? Damn, that's why I was living alone. I gotta deal with this shit anyway on live stream when people donate $1.99. You're gonna make me do it here too. Shit. This is what they turn that shit into. You give it to them, you supply. Molested. Yeah, fuck you too.
fine, Joe. It's trash. Oh, God, dang it. For 9,000. God. Mr. Skittles, man. In memory of Mr. Skittles. And look at whoever's done to him. Oh!
Now, a title. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, you're not allowed to say belt.
Holder. But it is certainly not a belt.
It's a championship belt, motherfucker.
Championship belt. Sounded like... Surely WWE is the land of free speech. Where wrestling...
Bullshit. 73.
Like when he won the ECW.
Oh, my fucking pussy first.
Gone are the days.
Title shot. What, Robert?
Around Manchester Evening.
Oh, my God.
Gets involved in drugs. That hurts the Barbie brand.
At all? Oh, yeah, it's all the one. I'm so fucking happy. Damn, that video was long, and most of those ratings are fucking bullshit, and there's some that might be, you know.
Oh, and that. Regardless, but if you told you're going to be a ballroom dancer in 2013,
Oh, you're so worried. Love yourself, motherfucker.
Going on to listen to the video.
Yeah, fat ass legend, right there.
Nonetheless, added value at the end. Ordinarily, the one with the Rock or Stone Cold, he was him to run around like crazy people.
The Rock could do it whatever he wants. Wouldn't that annoy you if I was always putting my face in every video? You know, it had nothing to do with me or whatever stuff. I don't know, man. If y'all want to watch that original video, just check it out.
It's almost time to go, but if you don't know what to do, they've got the answers for you. For answers, call 866-5.
What makes a Wawa club? Is it the crispy bacon on the turkey BLT? The endless layers of flavor of the... It's pretty much...
There's a part two yet. I'm sure the people will let us know in the comment section. Yeah. Oh, shit, he blew. Oh, those are days right there. Oh, come on, bro. That ain't even a boost. That's a small. That's shit. Oh, no. What's crazy? Seth Rollins, he's forever known for WCW.
Your boy...
Aquaman! Shit. Mankind? That's the only certain thing he's taking in. Wait, who said get out of here? Who said that? All I know is why you say that. Get out of here. As he's standing up there. As he's standing up there. Oh, yeah, that's right there. Oh, that was not He was not expecting. Why did somebody catch him?
Good grief.
Some of them, when they don't break, it's just straight pain.
Yeah.
Paper clip.
Oh, Jesus.
That's why he waited.
It's pretty much you.
Bray Wyatt finally came back after months of speculation. Match finally began. Cross is just going after Drew's shoulder repeatedly in this thing. Up to get the free blood, but that was what it is. Main event time. It's the fight pit match as Matt and fans took it back pretty quickly, and I think this makes a lot more sense than whatever was going to happen as the original game. Backstage, it works. As confusing as that path has been in 2022, it works, and the fans took it back pretty quickly, and I think that made no sense to me. With Mega's heel turn this year and being all evil and dark and mysterious, that made no sense to me.
few months ago. It was Rhea Ripley. It's Beth and just the evilness of Funky over. I mean, the power has won. I give this one 4 stars out of 5. Jericho anyway. If the match is already over, Finn Balor quits, and the heels are like, psych, hits back to Jericho anyway. If the match is already over, Finn Balor has won. I give this one 4 stars out of 5. Yeah, the match was a little long. All Edge matches these days seem to be, but I mean, when there's only 6 matches in a 3-hour show, you gotta do what you gotta do. Some matches are gonna be the longest of the night out of all those. And I think the story itself was amazing. The way they kind of rose through that in the match itself, and then near the end, when Judgment Day gets involved, and Phoenix gets involved, it didn't feel clunky or overbooked. It just felt it was part of a story.
Eating out of the palm of her hand, but she's got to get refocused here.
I'm going to turn that off for a quick second or two. Thanks for watching, everyone. And make sure to like, comment, and chat with me for more live streams just like this one. And as always, I will see all of you in the next stream.